I'm sitting here with Ken Knapton. He's a Highland City Council candidate. Ken, thanks for coming along and doing the video. Ken, thanks for sitting down with us. I'd like to know a little bit more about you. Where did you grow up? How is it that you ended up here in Highland?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it, and it's great to come into Fizz. I haven't been here before, so I'll have to try.
Fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll have to try out their drinks here.
It's an awesome atmosphere.
I've seen it. I've never been in. So yeah, it's very cool. So a little bit about myself. I am not a Utah native. I grew up back east, born and raised in New Hampshire, and I spent some time in my teenage years on both coasts. So I've lived in California and Florida. Came out to Utah and just loved it. Met my wife here, decided this is where we wanted to raise our children. Through the course of my career, I've had several opportunities to relocate, to move outside the state, and we've decided not to do that, that this is where we want to be. Great. So we're here in Utah, moved to Highland about just over 2 years ago, and just absolutely love it.
Tell me what it is that you do professionally.
I'm a chief information officer, so I do IT, computer stuff. I work for a bank right now. I've been in several different industries. I worked in high tech here in the Valley for the first decade and a half of my career. I've been in healthcare, I've been in finance, I've been in mortgages, always doing IT related things.
Excellent. Well, City Council. Why would you run for City Council?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
why would anyone?
The meetings, they're not that interesting, and you know, we get a lot more views if we were doing something else other than talking about City Council. I recognize that, and you want to sit up there and be part of the City Council. Why?
Yeah, you know, this isn't something that I have aspired to. I haven't, you know, just wanted to go into municipal government. But like I said, I love Highland. And I have looked for opportunities to serve and to help out before. I've served on some boards for charter schools here in the Valley, helped a couple of them as they were getting started. So I've had that type of experience, but never at the city government level. Saw that there was an election coming up. I saw that there was a need for 3 seats, and I thought, you know, this is an opportunity for me to get involved with the city that I really love, and I'm grateful to be a part of. So just looking for an opportunity to see what I can do to help bring some fiscal responsibility. Not that there hasn't been, just that, you know, that's something that I bring.
What's some of the things that you're seeing coming up for Highland residents should be aware of?
So, like I said, one of the things that really drew us to Highland is the space, the open feel, right? The fact that we were able to get some property where we can bring our horses and have animals. That's what really attracted us here. And I like the fact that Highland feels different than some of our surrounding neighboring cities. As I said, I'm not really looking at any specific initiative or any specific platform that I'm trying to run on. But I do want to make sure that Highland maintains that open feel. And I know there has been some discussion recently about the open space initiative and some of the regulations that have been passed in that regard. There's been some discussion about the fees associated with that. But I think it's important to make sure that we maintain that open feel and that we do so in a fiscally responsible way.
That's a big one for this community, and it's a tough situation.
Yeah, it's a challenging issue, and I've been reading the history about it. I've been reading about how these came to be and what the situation was back in '98 was when it first started. 2008 was when they added some addendums to that. And I don't want us to become, you know, an Orem or even, you know, Pleasant Grove. When we moved there, it was more of almost a bedroom community. Now there's a lot of retail business there, and you know, they needed that from the tax base in order to maintain the city. But I want to help ensure that Highland maintains the feel, this open, you know, area, large lots kind of feel.
One of the other issues that's coming up, there's a budget analysis that suggests that in 2022, if nothing else changes, Highland will end up going into the red. So we've been fiscally sound, and I think most residents don't know that that's looming. And so with 3 seats up, it'll be this city council that has to deal with that, either cutting back services or increasing revenue / taxes. What's your feelings on that? How do you approach fiscal problems?
Yeah, that is again the challenge, right? Is how do you ensure that you have the funds needed to maintain the services for the city while being fair to the residents, right? And again, Pleasant Grove decided to tackle that by bringing in more retail, getting additional tax base to be able to maintain their budget. I think it's a tough issue, and I think we need to look very carefully at the projections. I've just recently received the budget and those projections. I haven't been able to look at them in detail yet, but I plan to look at them very, very carefully, and bring some of that fiscal responsibility. Again, not that there hasn't been, but to your point, we're coming to a point where that particular skill set is going to be needed, and that's something that I bring. So I will look very carefully at the budget. I'll look very carefully at what's proposed, and we'll have to do what needs to be done. And that may mean that taxes need to increase. I'm certainly not a fan of increased taxes. That's not my
no one is.
that's not what I hope to do. But again, we need to be fiscally responsible, make sure that the city can continue. Right.
So how do you imagine yourself working with residents? I mean, representative, are you leading or are you representing?
The only thing that I have to compare for myself is how I lead in my job. And I believe in being very open and transparent. I believe that there are very few things that cannot be discussed with employees in my case, or in this case with residents. So I believe in very open communication, being transparent. Some things that have to remain confidential, that's how it is. But I hope to make myself available to anyone that wants to come and talk about issues, things that they would like us as a city council to address. I believe that diversity of thought helps us get to the right answer. And so I want to listen to people that think differently than I do, people that have different ideas, and bring all of that to a discussion at the city council level.
Excellent. All right. Well, Ken, the final question is kind of the opportunity for you to make that campaign stump speech. What do you feel the Highland residents should know about you, that they should consider you for Highland City Council?
Well, we have several great candidates. I know that if I do have the honor of serving on the city council, I'm going to be serving with 2 other people that are part of this group this year. So it's good to know that we have a good group of people to choose from. So that's a good place to be. As I said, my strengths are I'm fiscally responsible, open, transparent. I love the open space here in Highland, and I want to find a way to help us continue to maintain that in a fiscally responsible way so that we can continue to have a wonderful city for our residents. So, I'm just a guy that is looking for an opportunity to serve and help to see if we can continue the great things that are going on here in Highland.
Got up early in the morning, you came down, you talked to me on camera. With the lights, 2 cameras going.
Lights, cameras, yep, it's all very unnerving.
How do people find out more about you, Ken Knapton?
So I do have a website, kennknapton.com. If you go to kennknapton.com/Highland, that's where I'm going to be putting information about my campaign and the things that I'll be working on. And if I have the honor of being on the DC City Council, I will continue to maintain that as a place where I can share my thoughts and receive feedback from anyone who wants to let me know what they think.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.